What's up guys, Event Array. Today we're going to be doing another D&D video. Today we're going to be ranking the Bard subclasses. And my personal opinion on what are the best Bard subclasses, I'm going to be ranking them in preference. I haven't developed any type of ranking system. I've seen other D&D YouTubers have like ranking systems. This is all going to be my personal opinion. So I'm going to go over each Bard subclass, and I'm going to mention something I like about each of those subclasses basically. And we're just going to go down the list. I'm also going to tell you which source book that it was included in, and just a little bit of some information about that Bard subclass. So starting at the top, my all-time favorite Bard subclass is going to be the College of Eloquence. This one was included in Tasha's, and it is simply amazing. So it has the Silver Tongue ability. So if you're doing persuasion or deception and you roll underneath a 10, you can take a 10. It's kind of similar to the Rogue's Cunning Action, I believe it is called, where you could just take a 10, and that's super cool. As a Bard, it basically emphasizes the Bard's abilities and ups their charisma usage and stuff like that. They also have Unfailing Inspiration. So if you give one of your party members a bardic inspiration and they use it on a check or a roll or whatever, and it fails, they get to keep that bardic inspiration for another time. So they don't get to use it again immediately, but next time they need to roll their d20, they can add that bardic inspiration again, and they can keep doing that until it succeeds. So that's pretty cool. It definitely maximizes the usage of your bardic inspiration, and it may make you spend them more than you usually would because you're holding out on whether you think it's going to be successful or not. In a circumstance like this, it's almost always going to be successful eventually. So yeah, that's super cool. They also have Universal Speech, which allows them to speak any language, which is super cool. I believe the maximum time limit for this is only an hour, but it's still super cool, and I believe they can only use it once every long rest. But the ability to speak to any language with all the different monsters and creatures and languages in D&D, this is definitely one that's super handy depending on the setting that you're in. If it's a combat heavy setting, this may not come up as much, but if you're doing any type of social interactions and you're going from city to city and region to region, country to country, that's a great ability for a bard to have. And then they have Infectious Inspiration, which basically allows them to do double bardic inspiration. So whenever they use a bardic inspiration, they can give that bardic inspiration to someone else. So that's also super cool. All of these basically just emphasize the bard's core mechanics and make them much better. After the College of Eloquence, I like the College of Lore. Let me say this real quick. College of Eloquence is in Tasha's. I'm not sure if I said that. And the College of Lore is going to be one of the original bardic colleges in the player's handbook. So it's pretty cool. You get extra magical secrets, which I love magical secrets. It's super cool how you can just get spells from any other class, and you get 2 extra magical secrets. So I love taking my time and going through different spells from each other. Well, it's actually kind of a drag going through all of the classes looking for a spell that I like, but I still love it. So it's like a love-hate relationship. I love going through all the classes looking for a spell, and then I hate going through all of the classes looking for a spell. So it's a double-edged sword. They also have Peerless skill, where this allows them to add their bardic inspiration to an ability check, whereas usually bardic inspirations can only be used for attack rolls. So that's pretty cool how they are able to do that. Next up, I'm going to have the College of Swords. This is out of Xanathar's guide, and a lot of the Xanathar guide, a lot of Xanathar's guide to everything subclasses I hear are broken, and I don't think the swords class are broken, but I really like it. It has the Blade Flourish movement, the Blade Flourish ability, which allows you to get an extra 10 movement speed. In about half of my sessions, we do use Theater of the Mind, and about half of them we don't. It depends on which group I'm playing with. But if you're playing with Grid, this extra 10 feet really matters. It gives you 2 extra squares, so it's pretty cool. And then I love the Defensive Flourish ability. The other ones are okay, but the Defensive Flourish one is definitely cool. So you expend a bardic inspiration, you add that as extra damage, and it gets added to your AC until the beginning of your next turn. So that's pretty cool, especially if you're stuck right there in the middle of some enemies and you weren't able to get out with your remaining movement speed. Eventually you'll also get an extra attack, which is super cool. I do believe the extra attack has to be, of course, with a weapon and not in magic, but it's still pretty cool to get an extra attack. Bards are half casters, so sometimes they do use weapons, and if you take the attack action with a weapon, you do get an extra attack. And then eventually they gave him the ability to flourish, and it doesn't use bardic inspiration, so that's pretty cool. The main con of using the flourish ability is you're not using the bardic inspirations on your teammates. A lot of people think bards should be support characters where they reinforce the other players in their team and in their party. I don't really think so. I think the bard can be anything really. They can be a defensive character, they can be offensive, and they can be support, but I don't think they should be relegated to the support character. The bard is just so versatile depending on what you do with them. Next up, we're going to have the College of Creation. This is going to be one of the newer subclasses out of Tasha's. College of Creation, I really like the Moat of Potential theme. So whenever you use a bardic inspiration, a moat of light appears. And whenever you use the bardic inspiration on an ability check, you get to roll the dice twice and you get to pick which one you want. So that's pretty cool. It basically doubles your success. I'm not really good with statistics, but I'm gonna say it doubles the chances of a success because you get 2 rolls and you get to pick with those. It basically gives you advantage on your ability roll. If you do it with an attack roll, you can add that roll to your attack. So when you roll to hit, you can add that to that. And you can force the damage on, you can force the bardic inspiration dies damage onto another enemy within 5 feet. The enemy does have to make a constitution save against your DC. So if they pass against your DC, they do not take any damage, but if they fail, then they take whatever damage you roll. So if you're still starting off early on with a D6, they will take whatever you rolled with that D6 as damage if they fail the constitution save. There's a lot of small print to get that off, but I still think it's pretty cool. And then if you're doing it on a saving throw, you get to get temporary health added to you. So you get the temporary health, and you get the charisma mod of the bard casting it. So if you have a +3 and you roll a 4, you get 7 temporary health, and that's pretty cool. Also, I really like the saving throw and the ability check ones. The saving throw I think is probably the most useful because if you're making a saving throw, you're probably going to take damage, and a lot of saving throw spells, even if you pass, you still take damage. So I think if you're going to be the College of Creation, you should use the Moat of Potential on saving throws for other party members, but that's just my personal opinion. And then they have the Performance of Creation. Starting off the Performance of Creation, you can create any non-magical item that costs 20 underneath your bardic level. So if you're level 1, 20 is the max. If you're level 5 times 2 to 100. It has to be under 100 gold pieces of value. So that'll be a little bit up to your DM and the discretion of that. And you have to keep track of the value of items that you're needing to request. But the ability to just create any item that you may need, say you need rope, you need a grappling hook, you need any type of thing, the College of Creation can create that. And eventually, if you level up high enough, you'll be able to create anything without any gold restrictions. And that's pretty cool also, especially if you're playing in a campaign where you need spell components. A lot of DMs don't enforce spell components, but if you're in a session that does, this will be pretty useful, I feel like. Next up is going to be the College of Whispers out of Xanathar's Guide. Don't ask me why I cannot say Xanathar's Guys. I'm just going to say Zan's. I really like the Venomous Blades ability, where if you expend a Bardic Inspiration, you get 2d6 damage on top of your regular damage, and that does increase to 2d8 at level 5, it increases to 2d10 at level 10, and it increases to 2d12 at level 15. So if you do get high enough level, expending the Bardic Inspiration pays off more and more. I think the 2d6 is actually a pretty good usage of the Bardic Inspiration, especially at low levels, where you're only adding a d6 to it, and I think it only gets better from there. I do also like the Mantles of Whispers, where you can, if you take out an enemy, you can capture the shadow of that enemy if they're the same size of you or bigger. So if you're a medium creature, you can capture this shadow of a medium or large creature, I believe it is, and you can impersonate that creature for 1 hour, And while you're that creature, you gain basic information that creature would know, not like top secret information and stuff like that, but just a small biography of that creature, enough to help you disguise yourself. So that's pretty cool also. And that's why I like the College of Swords. I'm sorry, College of Whispers. Next, we're going to be doing the Valor Bard. I am actually DMing a campaign with a Valor Bard, and she really puts the Valor Bard to work. But needless to say, I still don't really like it too much, as it's second to last on this list. The Valor Bard is out of the player's handbook. They do get some proficiencies, such as medium armor and shield proficiencies, so they're made to be more combative. They're really focusing on the other half of the half-caster aspect of the Bard. So they'll also get an extra attack, and then they can add their bardic inspirations as damage or attack rolls. So they're pretty cool. Battle magic is pretty cool. It's where you can use your bardic act. You get 2 attacks, and you can cast a cantrip as a bonus action, I believe is the battle magic. So that's pretty cool. The thing is, you don't get the battle magic until later levels, so I just don't see it being feasible in low level play to me. And then my least favorite bardic subclass is going to be the College of Glamour out of Xanathar's Guide. The Mantle of Inspiration, there's a lot of flavor to this class. I like it for the flavor of this class, but I don't really like it as the aspects of the abilities that are gained for this subclass. So the Mantle of Inspiration is really the only thing I like. You take on a wondrous Fey appearance. Everybody within 60 feet that you choose can gain up to your charisma mod. Sorry. So if your charisma mod is +3, you can choose 3 creatures within 60 feet of you, and they gain 2d6 temporary health, and they can move, even though it's not their turn, they can move up to their movement speed towards you. So that is important to say. So they can move as much as they want, but it has to be towards you as the caster. So that's pretty useful if they're needing to get into a better position, but they cannot move away from you. They have to move in the direction of you. So I think that's pretty cool. And then the health that you gain from this ability increases at level 5, 10, and 15. Same as before. It's going to go to 2d10. I'm sorry, it goes to 2d8 at 5, 2d10 at 10, and then 2d12 at 15. But that's pretty much everything I have as far as the Bard subclasses, guys. I appreciate you for tuning in. This is just my personal opinion. If you have any other thoughts down below, or you have a different opinion, or maybe I missed out on something cool, feel free to reach down, comment below. I'm very active with my comments. I respond to pretty much everyone, even the negative ones, guys. But yeah, if you liked what you like the video, please. If you want to see more, feel free to subscribe to Event Array, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.